Welcome to this explainer. I am genuinely thrilled you're tuning in today because we're about to dive into something that is, frankly, profoundly universal. Let's just be completely honest for a second. Every single one of us, no matter our background, no matter our big goals, eventually faces a moment of deep, overwhelming darkness. You know the kind I'm talking about? A moment where the path ahead just vanishes and doubt completely takes the wheel. Well, today we are unpacking an incredible, timeless piece of wisdom straight from the Bhagavad Gita. We're going to explore a brilliant exchange between Arjuna and Krishna that directly tackles exactly what to do when you feel entirely lost. My goal today is to show you how this ancient framework can totally shift your mindset right now, today. So I want you to mentally step into Arjuna's shoes for just a moment here. He asks Krishna this deeply human question. What should one do when there is darkness everywhere, loved ones abandon you, and the mind wants to give up? Wow. Think about how heavy that is. Have you ever been right there in that exact spot where the exhaustion isn't just physical, but it's this deep mental and emotional drain? You feel totally isolated, your support system seems to have just vanished into thin air, and the absolute easiest option, really the only option that makes any sense, is just throwing in the towel. This isn't just some dusty ancient history. This is the literal exact anxiety we feel when a business fails, a relationship ends, or a personal dream just hits a massive brick wall. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the immediate, calming shift in perspective Krishna offers. He doesn't panic. He just smiles and asks a incredibly simple question. Have you ever seen that even after the sun sets, the morning comes again? It's such a beautiful, grounding metaphor, isn't it? I mean, when the sun goes down, we don't suddenly assume the world has ended. We know for a fact the night is just a phase. Krishna is reassuring Arjuna, and by extension all of us, that these excruciatingly difficult times simply don't last forever. The darkness is a temporary condition. It's not your permanent destination. The morning is an absolute inevitability. So the crucial point is right here. This is really the intellectual core of this whole explainer. On one side of the equation, we have karma, which translates to our duty or our actions. This is the stuff we actually control. On the exact opposite side, we have phal, which means the results or the fruits of those actions. And this is what we absolutely can't control. Krishna makes it definitively clear. A human being's right is strictly limited to performing the action. You have literally zero jurisdiction over the result. When we obsess over the outcome, the phal, we get completely paralyzed by anxiety. But when we laser focus entirely on the karma, just doing the next right thing, we reclaim all of our power. Okay, and this brilliantly illustrates the mechanics of actually conquering adversity. Krishna lays down these three harsh but deeply empowering truths. Let's break them down. First, when the road is incredibly hard, it doesn't mean you're failing. It actually means you're heading in the exact right direction. Friction is just a sign of forward movement. Second, the person who tries to escape struggle, well, they'll never actually discover their own true strength. Your potential is quite literally locked behind the very obstacles you're trying to avoid. And third, if you just stay the course and fulfill your duty, your karma, in every circumstance, ultimate victory is guaranteed. You don't even have to worry about the win. The win is just a natural byproduct of doing the work. But, Arjuna's still a bit skeptical. And honestly, scratch that, I'd be entirely skeptical too. He asks this highly relatable follow-up question, what if the whole world refuses to support us? It is one thing to do the work when people are cheering for you from the sidelines, right? But what happens when you're standing out there entirely alone? When your ideas are completely rejected, when your peers doubt you, and you're operating in total isolation? It agitates that core fear of abandonment we were talking about earlier. It is the absolute ultimate test of our resolve. But check out this extraordinary answer. Krishna replies that even if the entire world turns against you, if your mind is aligned with truth and good deeds, then time itself becomes your companion. Just think about how powerful that is. You are never actually alone if your actions are rooted in truth. People might abandon you, trends are going to shift, markets might totally crash, but the universe, represented here by time itself, will eventually bend in your favor. Truth and good actions are the ultimate unbeatable allies. If you've got those, you've got the majority. And this brings us to the absolute climax of this entire philosophy. It's captured in one of the most iconic Sanskrit chants ever spoken. Karmanye vadikaraste ma paleshu kadachana. Let me say that again, because it's a real game changer. Karmanye vadikaraste ma paleshu kadachana. This simply translates to, your right is only to perform your duty without worrying about the results. This right here, this is the ultimate formula for a stress-free, highly productive life. It's a battle cry against anxiety. If you memorize just one single thing from our explainer today, let it be this exact concept. Do the work. Release the outcome. Because here is the promise that naturally follows that philosophy. The bigger the struggle, the more magnificent the success will be. Listen, if you are going through absolute hell right now, I want you to realize that your current pain is quite literally the setup for a grand success. The depth of your current struggle is exactly proportional to the height of your future victory. Therefore, giving up is simply not a logical option anymore. Every ounce of hardship is just adding to the absolute magnificence of what you are building. Which leaves us with this final, profound punchline from this ancient wisdom. God may delay, but does not deny. Sometimes the timing just doesn't make sense to us. Sometimes that morning feels like it's taking way, way too long to arrive. But a delay is not a denial. The universe has a rhythm that we can't always fully comprehend. But if you stick to your karma, the reward is simply waiting for the exact right moment. So I'll leave you with this. What is the one action, the one single duty you need to focus on right now, today, without stressing over the finish line? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep focusing on your actions, let time be your companion, and I'll catch you in the next one.